So good morning students, this is KG Misra and I have come with the next topic of class 12th, and that is a relation between drift velocity and electric current. Okay, in the last video we have discussed about the drift velocity, okay, and we have got its expression. Now see, this is that conductor, okay. Generally conductors are spherical in nature, okay, sorry, cylindrical in nature. So I'm going to draw a conductor for you. So this is the conductor, okay, and this conductor obviously it has got the electrons, okay, free electrons, not electrons but free electrons, free electrons. And suppose the drift velocity of electrons is Vd, with which they are proceeding in this direction. It is connected to the positive terminal of the cell, okay, or battery. Positive, this is negative, okay. Its potential is V. Okay. Now, length of the conductor is L. Its length is L. Okay. Area of cross section is A. This area is A. Okay. Now, let the number of free electrons per unit volume be n. So what we have considered? We have considered that the number of electrons per unit volume is how much? It is n. Okay. Now tell me what will be the number of free electrons in this conductor. So number of free electrons in this conductor will be, okay, we can say let it be n, and that will be how much? Obviously this number of electrons per unit volume, that is small n, into total volume of the conductor. Now what is the volume of a conductor? What is the volume of a cylinder? See, if it is a cylindrical, obviously you know its volume is the base area into height. What is base area here? Area of cross section only. And so base area is A and height is how much? It is L. So we will get the total number of free electrons which are there in this conductor. Okay. Now once we have got the total number of electrons, can we find out the total charge on these free electrons? Obviously. So net free charge is, you can say it is Q, and Q is how much? It is total number of electrons is N, and charge on each electron is how much? E. So total charge is how much? It is Ne. Okay. But it is negative because charge on electron is negative. Okay. So we can put the value of N from here to there. So this implies that Q is equals to how much? N is, this minus sign we will have, then N is this one, A, L, and this E. So this is the total amount of charge we are having, free charge we are having on this conductor. Let us mark this equation 1. Okay. So in this way we got the total charge or net charge. Okay, total free charge or net free charge present on this piece of conductor. Okay. Now actually we want to find out the current. So now we have to find out the time, because we know that charge upon time gives the current. That is the relation you have studied in class 11. No, sorry, 10th. Okay. So should I rub this? Okay. So I will rubbing this heading first, because heading already you might have written, and then this part. Okay. I have rubbed this diagram, still I have left. The reason is that it will require to visualize certain things, that's why I am leaving the diagram, and the remaining things I am rubbing. Okay. Now this is the charge you are having, that equation number 1. So I will leave only equation 1. Now see what will happen. What is the time taken by the electron to reach from this negative end of the conductor to the positive end? It has to cover length L. Its velocity is how much? Average velocity is drift velocity Vd. So when distance is known and speed is known, can you find out the time? Okay. From diagram, time taken by an electron to cover the length of the conductor. Is T is equals to distance by speed. This is our equation 2. All of you agree to this? Okay. But as we know, I is equals to Q upon T. This is our equation 3. Okay. So from equations 1, 2 and 3, we get what we get. Let's see what we get. See, equation 1 actually is this, 3 is this one. So in 3 we will put the value of Q from equation 1 and we will put the value of T from equation 2. Okay. So what we will get, let's see. It is Q is N, that is with minus sign, capital A L E upon, okay, and this is L by Vd. Okay. Now what we will get, see, I is equals to it is N A L E V D. Okay. This minus side we don't take, we take only the magnitude of the charge. Okay. And this upon L. So L and L cancel out. Okay. So what we are left with, I'm going to remove this because this is not needed anymore. So we get I is equals to N E A V D, and this is the expression for current. Okay, this is the expression for current. So we got the current in terms of drift velocity. Now there are certain things which we can elaborate from here. Okay. Now, from here what we can see, should I remove this all? Or have you written? Okay. Nice. Very good. What we have got? We have got I is equals to N E A V D. Now see, N, that is the number of electrons per unit volume for a conductor. No, it obviously depends on the nature of the material. For a particular material, N is constant. The charge on an electron, that is also constant for a given material. Area of cross section, obviously for that conductor it is same. Drift velocity. Drift velocity may change. So we know that we can say from here I is proportional to Vd. Okay, but Vd depends on temperature. Okay, if the Vd is more, this temperature is more, then what will happen? Then you will find the number of collisions is more. When the collisions is more, then you can say there will be lesser drift velocity. When there is a lesser drift velocity, then what you will find? There will be lesser current. Okay. So in this way we can say the current is inversely proportional to the temperature. Okay. That means if the temperature is rising, then the collisions will be more and the collisions will result in the more resistance. As there will be more resistance, okay, how it will be causing more resistance? Because more collisions means lesser relaxation time. See, suppose electron is started moving from here and has to reach here. Suppose in between, okay, it is taking a time of 10 seconds. Okay. Now, what happens? It is undergoing 5 collisions. How many collisions first? 5 collisions. So between each two collision, how much time it is getting? What is the relaxation time it is getting? It is getting 10 second upon 5, that is 2 second. So between each two collisions, consecutive collisions, it is going to get a time of 2 second in which it is to accelerate. Okay. So in whatever velocity it is able to gain in 2 second due to acceleration, that will its maximum velocity. Then again after collision it will lose the velocity. Okay. Now it undergoes 100 collisions. So now what is the relaxation time it is going to get? See, it is 100 collisions. Time is how much? 10 seconds. So 10 upon 100. What you will get? You will get 0.1 second. So after one collision, it is getting only 0.1 second to acquire the velocity or increase its velocity due to acceleration. And so it will not able to increase its velocity more. Okay, it will be able to increase its velocity by a very small amount. Okay, so obviously its relaxation time will be less. See, less. As relaxation time is less, what we know? We know that Vd is what? It is E by m into tau. And when relaxation time is less, then what about the drift velocity? Obviously, drift velocity will be less. Okay, because Vd is proportional to relaxation time. These things are constant for a given conductor. Okay. Now, when relaxation time is decreasing due to increase in temperature, because of increase in temperature, the number of collisions is increasing, and because of number of collisions, relaxation time is decreasing. And as it is decreasing, what will happen? The drift velocity will decrease, and so the current will decrease. Okay. So even if we are not writing this, then also we can write, but this, and then we can say that relaxation time is inversely proportional to temperature. Okay, and therefore with increasing temperature, what will happen? I will decrease. Okay. Now, the next topic is that our next topic is Ohm's law actually in terms of drift velocity or relaxation time. Okay. Now, how to go for drift velocity? So we have to start from there only. As we know, what we know? We know that I is equals to NEAVD. Okay. Now what will happen? As you know, this is the current. Okay. Okay. But what is Vd? But Vd is, it is E by m, that is mass of electron, into tau, that is relaxation time. Okay. So we can place it over there. Therefore, I will be how much? It is NEA. Instead of Vd, we can write E by m into tau. You might be thinking why I have not taken the negative sign. Because see, we are writing the scalar quantity. Okay, direction is not needed over here. So finally, what we get? This implies we get I is equals to N E square A capital E tau by m. Okay. Now, suppose the conductor is here and the length of the conductor is L. So this, okay, and you are applying a potential difference V between the ends of the conductor. Potential difference is V. That means potential difference between these two ends is how much? V. And what is the electric field inside it? That is E. So can you find the relation between electric field and potential difference between the ends of the conductor? Obviously. Also, we can say E is what? E is V upon L. Potential difference upon the separation between the two ends, between which the potential difference is V. Okay, that is electric field, and that we got from where? From this relation. E is equals to minus dV by dr. From this relation we got that. Okay, so this one we got. Therefore, what will the value of I? I is equals to N E square, okay, A V. This V is potential. Remember that potential difference. Then M into L. This L will go here. So this is our expression which we have got. Now, have you completed the upper part? May I remove this? Okay, fine. Okay, I have removed it. Now let's see. We can do one thing. We can transpose all the things this side except V. So we'll get V into I into ml upon the remaining will come into denominator, that is n e square. Okay. A V will remain there only. We will get tau. N e square A and tau we have got here, and here what is left, that is V. Now can we take this I this side? So what we left with ml by n e square A tau. Okay, and that is equals to what? V upon I. Now, even you may write this or may not write out there also, okay, but we can say, see here, if we are not writing this, what is M? Mass of electron. What is length? Length of that particular conductor we have chosen for experiment, okay, and number of electrons in that conductor. Obviously it depends on its nature of its material. E, the electronic charge, which is independent of everything, okay. A, area of cross section of that conductor, okay, and tau, the relaxation time. That means if we are keeping the temperature constant, then tau will remain constant, and if we are keeping that conductor constant, then what will happen? All the things will remain constant, okay. So we can say here, for a particular conductor at constant temperature, what you get? M L upon N E square A tau, that is equals to constant. So what we can say, if this is constant, then can we write V is equals to a constant into I, and this implies that if we remove this constant, we can write V is proportional to I, and that is our Ohm's law. Okay, that is our Ohm's law. This is our Ohm's law. Okay. Now once we have got our Ohm's law, can we find out the expression for resistance? Let's see. Let's try. Okay. I hope you have done this. See, as we know this one, no? So from here, can we do one thing? Can we take this side, that side? So what we left with? ml upon n e square A tau, and that is equals to what? V upon I. This is our equation number 1. Okay. Now, from Ohm's law, what we know, whatever expression we get from that, we can write V upon I is equals to R. If we compare these two equations, what we'll get? Comparing equations 1 and 2, what we get? Just check it. We are going to get R is equals to, it is ml upon that is n e square A tau. Okay, that is the expression for resistance of a conductor. Okay, now from here, as we know, for a given conductor, ml A square e square A is constant. Okay, so we can write that R is equals to constant upon tau. So this implies that we can say that R is inversely proportional to relaxation time. Okay, and we also know that tau is inversely proportional to temperature. That means from here we can say with increasing temperature the relaxation time will decrease. Okay, as the relaxation time decreases, the resistance will decrease. Okay, so we can say that with increasing temperature, resistance also increases. Why? Because number of collisions increases. Okay, so with increasing temperature, resistance increases. Okay. Okay. That's all for this video. My dear children. Okay. We have discussed the Ohm's law. We have discussed the relation between current and drift velocity. We have discussed how this, what is the expression for resistance, okay, in terms of relaxation time, and we have got the conclusion how the resistance depends on temperature. Okay, that's all for this video. Again, I will come in the next video. Okay, with the next part of the video for you. Thank you. Take care and keep on studying.